This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, discounted prices, miniaturemarket.com. Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're in a mansion where there's been a murder and all of us are trying to figure out who's going to get all of his stuff. So we're trying to eliminate other people, but we're lying about who we are. Today we're looking at Hoax. This is a reprint of an older game. Fantasy Flight Games just brought this back out, cleaned up some of the mechanisms, streamlined it a little bit. It's for 3 to 6 players and it's a bluffing game. Let me show you how it's played. I'll see you on the other side. In Hoax, you will secretly be one of these characters, and you'll be able to use their ability throughout the game to do different things. You'll be trying to obtain 3 resources throughout the game: cash, evidence, and prestige, because if you have one of each, you can turn them in to investigate other people and learn about them. If you think you know who someone is, you can accuse them and try to knock them out. You're trying to be either the last person standing or being called out on hoax that you're lying when you're actually telling the truth, and then you win. Let's go a little further. On your turn, you must claim one of those characters. Now let's say you claim to be the distant cousin. You'd say, I'm the distant cousin, and I can take either 1 cash or 1 prestige. Let's say, I'm the distant cousin, I'm taking a cash. At that point, you'd pause and see if anybody wants to call hoax on you. If not, it would just simply be the next player's turn. If someone does call hoax on you, everybody takes a vote. On the count of 3, everyone gonna put their fists on the table. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, everyone except the person who's the active player would say thumbs up, meaning I believe them, or thumbs down, I don't believe them. If it's a thumbs up, if the majority are tied is thumbs up, it continues and this player was able to take the action. It would then be possibly the next player's turn. If the majority of them say I don't believe them, well, then 1 or 2 things is gonna happen. If you're not the distant cousin and you were lying, you put an imposter token on here and you can no longer claim that ability. However, if you truly are the distant cousin, well, you just won the game. You flip over your distant cousin card, you say, well, you called me out, I was the distant cousin, I won. The game can end very fast, and so you gotta know the right time to bluff and the right time to tell the truth. Now, in addition to claiming an action like this, you can, if you want, as I mentioned before, turn in 1 of each of the resources to investigate someone. And this is how that works. That player would take the investigation deck. In here are 1 of each of the characters. They would take the character that is really them, put it face down, then they would shuffle this deck and they would put 3 more cards in it. They then would look at these 3 and know which 4 people they're giving to you to look at secretly. And you'll know that 1 of these players is actually them. So they'll do that, they'll give it to you, you'll look at them, and you'll go, okay, I know this person for a fact is 1 of these 4. They claimed lover a couple times during the game. I think it's probably them. After that, you shuffle these back in. Once per round, in your turn, you can accuse someone. Essentially, you could say, you know what, I'm gonna accuse you, and you would secretly give them the card that you think they are. Let's say I think that player is the lover. I would secretly give this card to them. They would look at it. If they say, nope, that's not me, I would lose. If they say, yes, that is me, they don't reveal it. They just put it back into the pile. Nobody can see why you were right or why you were wrong. But they're out of the game and you get any of the resources they have in front of them. You're trying to eliminate everybody by being the last person standing. Now, additionally, you can play with what's called immunities. Let's say you were the chef. It says you are immune to the gardener. Let's say someone claimed to be the gardener. It says take up to 2 resources of 1 type from another player. Let's say you had 2 cash and someone goes, I'm the gardener, I'm gonna take from you both your cash. You could say, no, you can't take it. I'm immune to you because I'm the chef. At that point, the gardener could call hoax and do it again. After that's done, someone could call hoax that they're actually the gardener. So it's sort of a 2-layer round of whether people want to call them out on hoax or not. And some people have immunities and some people don't. You don't have to play with these. I would maybe not play with them until you've played this a few times and you understand the roles. But pretty much that's how the game works. Now we can look at some of these other abilities here. You can, for the X, you can take either 1 cash or 1 evidence, or each player next to you must give you 1 resource of their choice. The lover can take either 1 evidence or 1 prestige. The butler can declare a player. You and that player each take 1 resource. So these sort of do all different things, taking different resources, taking things from other people, and things like that. And again, you win by either someone calls out hoax, the majority is thumbs down, they don't believe you, and you flip it up and you're actually that player, you automatically win. The other way is to eliminate other people by accusing them and you're the last person standing. Now, the game ends sort of quick, so you can play multiple rounds. If you win by flipping this up and proving people wrong, you get 1 point. If you're the last person standing and you end up accusing and revealing everybody else, then you get 3 points. And you just play until someone gets 4 points. Now, if you've watched this, then you're probably saying, hey, that's kind of like a popular game known as Coup. Yes, it is in that genre. However, this came out long before Coup. This is probably one of the pioneers in this bluffing type of game, where this originally came out in '95, and they just redid some of the rules and streamlined it. And all of us have played Coup and like it, and we've played other games like Operation Faust and really have liked that as well, and some of these bluffing games. And we played this one, and it's interesting because we all at the end of the night said, you know what, this is interesting because it feels similar to Coup, but yet it makes your brain work in a completely different way than Coup. So if you like that genre, I could even think that you could have both of these in your collection, because you could just play one round of this and it might just be a 5-minute game, 10 tops, right? And so this might be one that you can slip in when you're not going to get a whole full game of Coup in. But if you play the full game, again, it makes you change the way you think, because if someone accuses you and or calls hoax on you, and you're that person, you win. And like if they don't believe you and you were telling the truth, you automatically win. So you kind of want to do that, but you don't want to call yourself out too much, because they can just accuse you and go, you know what, you're calling the gardener a lot, I'm just going to accuse you, here's the card, yeah, I guess I was a gardener, I'm out. So you can't be too obvious, but you want to be obvious because you want them to call you out on it. So it's about like spreading yourself around and then calling that every once in a while and going back to it, and hoping that they do that. Or it's about getting those resources and doing the investigations and trying to figure out who they are. It's really cool. When somebody calls something that you are, you don't necessarily want to be the person to call hoax, because then you're like, oh, you called hoax on that? You must know they're not them. You must be them. I'm going to accuse that you're them. It's weird. It's just this interesting thing. It's quick. It's fun. It gives you that flavor of Coup if you've played it. But again, makes your brain work in such different ways. And it's really inexpensive game. So if you like those bluffing type of games, I would give this one a shot, even though it's so much older. That's kind of a cool thing, I think, because they've cleaned up the mechanisms and it works really well. So if you like that, I can recommend this game, and that's Hoax. This video was sponsored by Miniature Market's Review Corner. The Review Corner features podcasts, video, and written game reviews by gamers for gamers. Miniature Market, the online gaming superstore. Thousands of board games, discounted prices. Check them out at miniaturemarket.com. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for backing me on Kickstarter, making this season become a reality. I'd like to especially thank those here that have backed me at the credit level. Now, these video reviews are also available by audio on our podcast. It's the intros and the final thoughts on GameBoyGeek.com. Click podcast.